Once again, it's on. What's up, y'all? So they didn't charge Keefe D with I guess, the murder of Tupac Shakur. So I'm gonna break that down a little bit, and thank y'all for tapping in, man. This is BadNewsBrown. Go ahead and hit that like and subscribe. I speak on a lot of topics, if you don't know, but let me get started on this one. So, like I said, they done got Keefe D for the murder of Tupac. Now, how do I feel about that? Was a few things. Well, first, if in fact this is how Tupac was assassinated from the whole casino incident and the whole Baby Lane with Keefe D in the car, if that's how it really happened, then I explain that. Because I ain't gonna lie, y'all, it still is a part of me that's conspiracy minded, meaning like, okay, well, even if that is the case, is it more to it than that? Okay, who all was in the car with Keefe D, Baby Lane, and all that? So, but at the same time, I'm gonna keep it 100. I'm a realist. If that's how it really went down, then that's how it really went down, unfortunately. So I'm gonna touch on it like that. I'm gonna speak as if that's how it really went down, because that's how it really went down, y'all. So let me go in. Well, I mean, I'm happy. Finally, we got some type of closure on that. So the first thing is, okay, let's see where this go. So if in fact that's how it happened, I'm gonna keep it 100. And man, Keefe D, he's running your mouth. You had got away with it, allegedly, and you should have kept your mouth shut. But I know we in this new internet age, so people gonna speak on things. It's a new information age, and he tried to profit off that piece of information, and unfortunately for him, it got him wrapped up on it. Now, I don't care too much about Keefe D. Of course, I don't know him personally. You know, I don't hate on that particular Crip set that old boy was from who did it. Ain't nothing against them. But I do want to know, okay, if this in fact, okay, also it went down like this, how come after all these years, or I'm not aware about, how come the Mob Piru boys, did they do any type of retaliation? Because Pac got assassinated back in '96. That's a long time. So, I know a lot didn't happen since then. I know, of course, the alleged trigger man, Bennett, got killed. But still, though, if you guys, the Mob Piru guys, Shudge and company, actually knew this was the truth, y'all should have been, I would think, put a demo down of some sort. Maybe they did, and I just don't know. So that's a question. If anybody out there know, maybe y'all can mention that in the comments. Of course, not no specifics, but just say, hey, yeah, they did put a demo or two down in retaliation to that. Because you got to think, for the longest, I was thinking FBI, the whole conspiracy, being that Pac was not only a high profile rapper, but the things he talked about and his actual intentions on, like I said, what he talked about, he was no secret what he was intending on doing. And that's the overall goal, is to get the criminal mentality to a positive mentality. I'm gonna put it like that, and that's one of the aims I want to do with my page right here. is to transfer that criminal mentality to something more useful to your community and your peoples. You know what I'm talking about? But so that's what me and a lot of people was thinking for the longest, that it definitely was some higher up foul play involved in, the assassination of Tupac Shakur. But now in light of all this new information that we've been getting, over the last months and years through these various interviews, and a lot of people like to say, well, I done heard that's out of few people's mouth on interviews as far as Pac made a mistake by affiliating himself with the Bloods or whatever, and I don't look at it like that because you go back, Pac was already in jail for the accused rape. The industry turned their back on him, kind of like how 50 said, this industry people ain't friends, they know how to pretend. So everybody know that's the name of the game. So at that time, Pac was kind of the damn bad in the industry. Didn't nobody really want to touch him. And Shug was willing to take that risk and come get him. So, of course, Pac gonna be down with the whole, Death Row record label. But I will admit that perhaps Shug definitely should have made more efforts to protect Pac from some of that, some of that BS out there, even though stuff happened fast. Fast forward to the whole incident with the casino when they stumped out old boy, and Pac got involved. So that's a quick instant. They caught in a moment. Unfortunately, old boy, and that's how it is, man. Never say never, man. You don't know who or what people thinking, and so they came back, and according to Keefe D and a lot of other people, they was riding Vegas looking for him, seen him, and got on what was it, the Benz Beamer, I forget what it was or whatever, and that's what happened to Pac, man. That's a shame, but it's just a trip about how this information age, man. This information gonna make or break you. And I ain't even gonna touch on that. That's some, there's ways to neutralize anything, even information, but that's top secret. So, but hey, if this is what happened, then that's what happened. And it's another thing I want to say. Just ask another question. Again, with this in mind, if this is exactly how Pac went out, was Notorious Big murder, or was Notorious Big simply collateral damage in retaliation to Pac murder? Because you got to go back. I'm going back to the events as it actually happened, not in light of all this information that we got now. So you got to think, back then, we thinking, like I said, it's either some conspiracy, was it Puffy and them had something to do with it or whatever? But then after Big got hit, it was kind of like, back then, when Pac got hit, people didn't too much think it was Bad Boy. I ain't gonna lie, we was kind of thinking it was a hidden hand involved. But when Big got hit, it was kind of like, that was just kind of like, this what I was under the impression, like that was a collateral damage murder, just to kind of just satisfy both parties, both sides. And that's what, again, where the whole conspiracy theory was coming in. Like, we gonna take both them out, on some, not even, because back then people wasn't really talking the whole Illuminati sacrificial thing, but along those lines. But it just was more, I was under the impression, more FBI based as far as that. And Big was just kind of like, okay, we got the main guy, Pac. But in order to either to keep the East West Coast beef going or to make it continue with the notion that this was on some gang, side against side stuff, we got to take Biggie out. And that's what I was thinking. So that still raised that question, y'all. Was Biggie murder or assassination? Was he simply collateral damage from this whole Pac murder? Which, I mean, as I'm talking and I'm thinking about it right now, as I said, y'all, I don't know, because like I said, if in fact, and this is what it's seeming like, this is how Pac got killed from stomping out the Crip boy or whatnot, that ain't got nothing to do with Bad Boy, even though this was the exact same crew that Puffy was alleged was kind of like paying for protection when he was in LA. So I don't know. Was all that related? I don't know. And then that's another question, I mean, you got to think, when they run into each other at the casino, I mean, was Suge like, oh man, that's one of them Crip boys, from that, I forget what gang, but Southside Crip, I'm not sure. But it's one of them Crip niggas, you know what I'm saying, that P. Diddy, who knows? So, again, that's another question. So, all this, this whole Keefe D thing, it's definitely going to raise a lot more questions, and it's still a whole lot more answers that we need, especially as far as who the driver. I keep hearing some theory about the hand. It was a fat arm that come out. So I forget who was all in the car. I think it was the name mentioned. I forget. So all that's gonna come up, and I'm wondering if Keefe D, like, is he? I don't know exactly, because I don't know exactly what the charge is. Is he what they call it, accessory, or they gonna give him something? Maybe that's just, hey man, you just running your mouth. You kind of got away with it because we had you allegedly, from what I'm hearing online, cooperating on something else. So you kind of got, I ain't gonna say a slap on the wrist, but hey, you dodged the bullet on that one. But you still out here running your mouth on it. And you gotta think, man, Pac, man, was loved and still loved, man. He wasn't just no average MC or no rapper, and it's no slight to any rapper that didn't pass, but Pac, still Pac, so you can't just be walking around out here like, you got certain, fans, and that's the key word from fanatic. You'll get the same thing with the whole Nip thing. You'll get rushed by anybody. But that's kind of like what I'm thinking right now about this whole Keefe D thing. I'm kind of really playing it by ear. I'm really interested on what he gonna say. I doubt he give a statement. It's not in his best interest, but I thought I heard some shit about they found some bullet shells a while back. I don't know. I doubt it. Or he kept the shells, or I'm not sure. But I don't know. Keefe D, man, hey. But again, man, I really don't give a damn about him, and it ain't nothing personal to him, bro. If you know that whole, and I understand this is how the streets, and even though Pac is much bigger than the streets, and he got caught up in something like that, still though. So hey, whatever they do to you, they do to you. You should have been humble and just keep your mouth shut on certain situations, especially when you done did something wrong. And that kind of bring up some personal stories of my past. Not too gruesome, but some personal things. But yeah, though, that's kind of where I'm leaning at on this whole Pac thing, y'all. Once again, is the few questions I got that come to mind is, did in the past, leading up to this point, did Mob, Pop Roots, Hoods people ever get some get back at the Crip boys? Again, I know they didn't get the dude who did it, Baby Lane. You know, he got killed by another Crip crew. But I'm just saying though, did y'all, you know, ride through, spray up they hood or anything? Because if in fact this how Pac went out, then y'all knew this been true all these years. And I don't know y'all. I done heard through various interviews that, you know, a lot of people, of course, in Compton in that area, all been knew this from back then. But of course, you know, the streets ain't gonna too much speak on certain stuff. You know, especially when when it's hot like that. So I'm wondering, did y'all do any demos or retaliation demos? You know, and another thing was Big murder, assassination, collateral damage from this whole Pac murder situation. You know, and is it a lot more to it, or is it just this, y'all? Open and shut. What y'all think? Is it just an open and shut case? Like, hey, yeah, man, they stomped out Baby Lane. Dude came back, retaliated, shot him up, pulled up in the story. Or do y'all think it's still some hidden hand up in there, you know? And some people may think like, well, hell, how could it be? But you'd be surprised. It's always room for some stuff. It's always room. But I would like to think, I ain't gonna say I would like to think because, you know, I would like just the truth. The truth is the truth, you know, but like I said, it's gonna be a lot of us still just gonna be refusing to accept this as the answer on some just case closed, shut. When it all go back to what Keefe D got to say, you know, and again, if in fact this is exactly what happened, you know, case closed, shut. That's pretty unfortunately. And then does that go? You know, what's the lesson to be learned in this? Well, of course, we can draw a lot of lessons, you know, throughout this whole death row ordeal. But I'm saying just in particular, as far as in that night, was it? Well, if anything, well, should he just been like, on, man, you know, I'm a star. But then again, didn't somebody try to snatch his chain? And that's what set it off? I think that's what set it off. So again, if that's what set it off, because didn't they have a bounty on the chains? See, and I should know this off the brain, but I think so. I think that's what even set it off. And Mob should caught dude slipping a little later after they tried to get the chain from other dude, something like that. So that, and I ain't gonna say that raised more questions, but then that's another little quadrant into it as far as where we kicked it off. Kind of leaning to the not randomness, but just kind of leaning to the, hey man, that's how it happened. You know, they seen old boy, the same nigga that tried to snatch the chain earlier, one of them same Crip niggas at PD, and they got on him, you know, and dude, you know, went and got his peoples, Keefe D and him, and they seen him, you know, and shot up the car. But once again, man, BadNewsBrown, y'all, man, just tapping in real quick, man. R.I.P. Pac, man, rest in peace. Pac, man, is still the the best rapper. I'm just gonna put it like that. And of course we gonna have favorite rappers and all that, but he stood for a lot more. I'm just gonna leave it there, man. Peace, get back at me.